For MMTC PAMP, the Lotus design is much like the Fortuna design for PAMP in Switzerland. It is the iconic design they want to be associated with. While there are several other designs that MMTC PAMP does make in several weights and even shapes, the Lotus design is their most iconic. As of now, the 10 gram is the smallest weight made in the bar shape in silver. And this style assay card I want to call the 4th generation assay card. I will go over the details on the various generations of assay cards further in this video, and by the end you will be able to identify the generations of assay cards as well. Of course, things are subject to change as new generations come out and more information is found. The 20 gram Lotus actually has all 4 generations of assay card styles, so it's a perfect illustration to identify the different generations. The oldest, first generation, basically has a dark blue assay card. The bars themselves on the first and second generation look the same to me. There's no details that seem to stand out that look any different on these 2 generations. The frosting of the arms, hands, and the Lotus flower itself stand out nicely against the mirror finish on this design. The different weights of the Lotus design are not always in production, but the 20 gram seems to be made the most, and that's why I have 4 different examples to show you. The size of the assay card on these early MMTC PAMP is the same size as the assay card you'd find on the PAMP made in Switzerland. The second generation assay card is red. You see here the corners have little decorative elements. The red stands out and looks very nicely with this bar. I have to say the blue looked nice as well, so which one looked better? That is subject to the eye of the beholder. So again, the second generation and first generation only have difference in assay card color. The bars do look exactly the same. The red assay card color definitely reminds me of the lunar bars PAMP makes. It stands out nicely, and perhaps that's why they changed the assay card color. Time will tell if the Lotus bar will be made in 2.5 gram, 5 gram, 15 gram, half ounce, and even Tola sizes. The third generation assay card went back to being blue. But you see in the corners of the assay card, decorative elements remained from those with the red color. With the third generation, there are differences on the front and back. There is a thin line outlining the Lotus and hands on the third generation bars that the 2 prior generations didn't have, which have a smoother finish. The thin outline gives a slight boldness to the design, trying to make the details stand out. Furthermore, on the reverse, the MMTC PAMP logo is noticeably larger. The logo is in a circle that is larger, and the text of the logo is bolder and larger as well. Serial number on the third generation bars have 6 digits. The 4th generation 20 gram Lotus bar is actually made on a long card. So the assay card is longer than your normal standard PAMP assay card. The assay card design is a little different. It has a watermark of the Lotus design on the card itself. The back of the assay card now has the date of production, the serial number, and even the cost of the bar itself listed on the assay card. The 4th generation 20 gram Lotus bars are a little different because the serial numbers now have 7 digits, while the 3rd generation bar only had 6. If you may remember, the first bar in this video, 10 grams, actually had the 4th generation style assay card, but was in the normal standard size assay card not the long card format. The 1-ounce Lotus bar only recently became available, with the example presented being produced in 2021. It has the 4th generation assay card style and is in the long card format. This is the first Lotus bar size to use the ounce system of weight, but the weight is actually still listed in grams. While the longer assay cards do have more space for the extra details, again, the date of production, serial number, they are longer, and this was not a popular choice of many collectors. PAMP has had a standard size assay card in place for decades, and now to change the size of the assay card so these could no longer fit in the box you used to keep all your PAMP in, it was definitely an unpopular decision with many collectors. The 50-gram Lotus bar is also a very popular weight, and you can see it was made as far back as the 1st generation. So this is the 1st generation assay card. I do believe it was made in the 2nd generation assay card style, but I don't have an example to show you in this video. The 1st generation 50-gram only has a 6-digit serial number. Decades ago, PAMP added a letter prefix to the serial number to start over again. MMTC PAMP took a different approach, and instead of having 6 digits for the serial number, they added an extra number, so now there's 7 digits. It's very likely the serial number started from scratch, from the beginning with 1, because my example of a later generation 50-gram bar actually has a lower serial number than my bar that is a 1st generation Lotus 50-gram bar. As we see here, this is the 3rd generation assay card style, and the serial number on this bar is in the 6,000s, while the earlier generation one has a serial number in the 7,000s. The Lotus bar was also made on 100 grams in an assay card you'd find on PAMP 100-gram bars. Even larger Lotus bars were made in capsules in 500 grams and 1 kilo. Perhaps another time I'll show the larger bars in another video. That's a lot of information on the Lotus bars. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you next time.